Welcome to the Fab 50 show. I'm Chaz, and I've brought on two very special guests, Scott Smith and Coach John Carpenter, both from the Texas Bombers. Welcome to the show, guys.
Excited to be here.
Well, this is our first show ever, and it was just kind of a brainchild of wanting to provide more to the club parents and the coaches and the players, and who better to tap into than coaches who have been around for almost 20 years. Can you guys talk a little bit about how you got into this game?
Yeah, I'll go first because yours is going to take a little while because it's long story.
And you're a little long-winded.
Yeah, he's long-winded. Yeah. I got in 2001 and by chance had a daughter first, and that's how I ended up in softball. But since 2001, doing this crazy sport we all love, and it's been awesome. But not as long as this guy, though.
That was short.
Yeah.
Wow. For me, it started as a volunteer assistant back in 1990 at Pflugerville High School. It really stemmed because I couldn't play. I wasn't any good, so I figured maybe I would be better at coaching and encouraging and trying to help other kids become great at what they were doing. So it's been a long time.
Tell me, what is it that you love about coaching softball?
Man, for me, it's the speed of the game. Being a baseball player, that was my background. I thought it was fast only when I played, and then you get exposed to softball, and then I think like everybody else, you just watch the game and you just fall in love with the pace of the game, the speed, and then you just start to see how athletic the athletes are, and then you're stuck. You can't get away from it. So that's me.
Well, I love the speed of the game. 100% honest though, it's the kids. It's when they're successful. That's what I take away from the game. I love to see young athletes, especially when they're not completely self-confident, they're still struggling with inner self-worth, and then they go out and do something that they thought maybe they couldn't succeed at that level, and then they do. And I geek out over it. I love it when kids become great and you feel like some word, some piece of encouragement maybe spurred them on that path, then I could die happy. That's it for me.
So I really think you guys have really, you amongst hundreds of other coaches, have taken on a great responsibility that often can go thankless. And you're working with athletes who are developing physically, emotionally, mentally, all at, you're not making buku bucks over it. Can you talk about some of the things that you've learned along the way and the things that have really helped you become a better person and coach?
Wow. One of the biggest things I've learned is the power of influence. That there's something that I could say or something I could do in action, and it evokes some kind of positive response. You always know that your words are powerful. You always know whether it's young men or, in our case, young ladies, they sit on the edge of their chair on every word you say. And there's a crazy, I call it a superpower because I think coaches are superheroes, and they don't get enough credit for it. But that superpower is influence. And for me, that's the biggest takeaway is what you say impacts people, but I don't think that you realize the depth of it until you're down the road several years and you actually understand that winning on the scoreboard really isn't the main thing. That when you win in life, everything else pales. And for me, that's the number one takeaway. It's just the power of influence and how that has grown over the years. So,
yeah, I mean, I think for me, I don't think I quite realized the impact that the players necessarily were having on me or I was having on them. It was probably not until maybe 5-6 years ago when we started our For the Heroes program, where we started wearing the name of soldiers on the back of the jerseys and asking the players to kind of research it and find out a little bit about that person and who they were. And so I got lost in the competitive side of it for probably 10 years where that's all I cared about. Did we win? We didn't, so I'm mad. I'm happy when we did. And that was so short-sighted for me. And then we started that program, and I started to see that the players actually wanted more from me than just teach them how to throw, teach them how to hit, even teach them how to win. And I think when we coupled the life lessons that go with the sport, the failure and the all that stuff, they chose a sport that has the highest failure rate of probably any sport that you can play. And so I started to become, I think, better. They taught me how to slow down and appreciate the process a little bit more and what you do together. And it wasn't necessarily, like Coach said, about the wins or the losses. I think that's when I started to learn a little bit more about how much better I could be and what I could give players. And then it became exponentially, it got better, because then I started singling in on what exactly does this player need, what exactly does that player need. So I think that was my thing, that's when I really felt like I started to learn about myself as a coach and how to be better. So it was kind of neat.